What's up? That's your line.
I mean, we started recording a while back. So.
Did we?
So, welcome back to Habano del Podcasto. We
Hello,
are now
everyone.
on episode 11. This
Well,
is
technically,
Yeah.
it's episode 12 because we had the Christmas special.
Right.
So this is the 12th episode.
Oh, it's a New Year special, not the Christmas special.
The New Year special.
The New Year special.
Yeah, I need to take a sip of this before we start.
It feels like a time ago, honestly. And it's been like a couple months.
I think what we've done is every episode we've improved something, from the quality of the cameras to the quality of our speaking and our chat to the quality of the guests. We're continuously improving. And I
Except Tolham's haircut.
No, I don't have time to get.
don't know what he's done to himself. He looks like he's falling asleep.
Yeah, it's been a long day for me. I came back from Saudi. So basically we were, I flew in, I got done with a bunch of chores at home, and then I came straight here. So I'm actually excited about this, to be honest.
Is it true that you were only eating bland food in Saudi?
No, it's not true. Maybe.
Remember, your wife's family is gonna listen to this, or at least your wife. She's gonna.
Yeah, their
look at
food
this.
was not bland. I don't know where you heard that, Omar, but you've described the majority of the food that you've seen me eating as bland, and I think this probably just has more to do that you were probably into spicy stuff.
So is it true that you were in hospital a couple of weeks ago, and basically you didn't have to change up your diet?
That's not true. They did give me bland food at the hospital. That was actual bland.
He just
food.
said you Tolham, you can just eat your normal food.
Yeah.
So should we start you on? Yeah, just your own food.
Yeah, it's okay.
Just eat whatever you. Actually, no. I told it like he eats everything with lemon up. It's just crazy. It's see all the things that you got, like those crates of lemon.
Yeah.
It would have been like Christmas for him.
I do like dairy in my food, especially on my rice.
Have you ever
Since I was
tried
a kid.
the one with the spicy chips? Have you tried?
Oh, I had that because my wife got it.
What was that any good?
It tastes like drinking raita. You know raitas? Like that Indian
Yeah.
yogurt.
The thing you put
Spicy.
on biryani and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's literally like drinking that.
Really? Would you buy it though?
I wouldn't buy it, no.
So
So
it's
see,
not
I've got tons of it in the fridge.
The thing is, I've seen people like open a bag of Oman chips and they like pour some lemon in there and just eat it or whatever. Anyways, so it's
People
a
are
special
weird.
episode. And why is it special? It's because we're gonna smoke a special stick today. Well, some say the brand is special, not the stick like Tolham. I don't know if he's a big fan of it, but you want to tell us a little bit more about what we're gonna smoke today?
Today we're gonna smoke the first Davidoff in the series, and I'm very excited about this just because I've not smoked a lot of Davidoff. I've smoked two before. Both of them were with my brother actually, so they were very memorable. The first one was a late hour. I don't know if you guys have tried that in the past, and it was probably one of the best cigars I've had. And the other one was the number two. I think it's one of the signature like ones that they have.
Yeah.
And I smoked that in Georgia, also with my brother. So so what we have right now is the Yamasá Robusto, which has quite an interesting backstory, and I'm just really excited to smoke. This is probably the first Davidoff I've smoked in 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, so
Yeah, it's probably the same for me.
so the last one I
It's been a
smoked was
while.
around 2 years ago,
Nice.
and
I've never
As
smoked
a-
a Davidoff.
oh really? This is your first one?
First Davidoff.
No way.
I mean, you guys have talked about Davidoffs a lot. You keep watching the same documentary on YouTube about Davidoff.
What a
Got me
documentary.
to watch it like 3 times already. Well, one I wasn't really paying that much attention. One I was half paying attention, and then the third one I was like, yes, you have to watch this. And when I watched it, oh man, it's
What a documentary!
Something
Just shout out to the people that made the documentary. It's a channel called the Bespoke Unit, and they made the documentary around 5 years ago.
Yeah,
And
we're gonna put a link in the description for the documentary as well. So whoever
yeah,
is interested in Davidoff and history of, I think, the start of non-Cuban cigars and
no, not only that, like for me, it was a very good way of understanding where or the process of getting a tobacco plant, literally from the moment they put it into the ground to the time it goes into a cigar, just the entire process. If you would want to just absorb that in around an hour and a half, I'd recommend watching it.
So I think because of that success of that documentary, all these famous cigar brands have started bringing out their own versions, and they're actually so good. You watch it on YouTube; they're so much fun.
They're
yeah,
fantastic. I learned a lot just from watching that one episode. Just to generally like the kind of effort it takes to kind of grow the tobacco plant. What are the stages that it has to go through from the growing to the curing to the fermentation process. It's a
yeah.
whole it's a whole like they mentioned in the documentary that from the moment that they start growing it to the time it ends up in your hands. It's a minimum of around 5 years with this
Yeah.
brand.
And the
So
thing
the
is,
amount of work that goes behind
Amazing,
that is,
so
is
so
insane.
amazing.
I'm into marketing and tech, right? And the amount of A/B testing and experimentations we do with whether it's a campaign or whether it's a specific product or whatever it is a lot. And I thought it's a lot until I actually watched the documentary and the amount of A/B testing and the amount of experimentation they had to do on soil, on the blend itself, on how to bring this flavor with this flavor and just put it in. It's a lot. It's an art. It's a different science just by itself. I don't know. I've never seen something that is so, like, you can tell the dedication of people behind the cigar industry and specifically the Davidoffs. But yeah, without further ado, you guys wanna pass the cigars and maybe we can.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Hold on, I got it.
You forgot that we have the tallest hands with
Yeah,
Toham here.
here.
So we've got the
Hey, you can actually light it up with the. With
You
this one.
can.
yeah.
If you, we have a
But
third one of
I
these
think
bad
if
boys. I'm gonna use matches. I want to try it with matches.
no, you can use matches to light the wood, and then have that
Like light the cigar.
light the cigar.
Oh man.
But I'm scared if you use the wood, you would
gonna
probably
burn
light
himself?
yourself on fire.
Toham is good with fire.
I'd say like it's not an overly strong aroma, but it's a very sweet aroma. I'm getting a lot of sweet notes on this.
Can you, is it quite leathery?
Not really. Mm. What are you getting on it, Adham?
I'm getting sweetness, but like dark or caramel vanilla kind of sweetness.
Mm.
Not honey, not much of a chocolate.
Oh, I just use the scissors to cut the cigar. It is perfect because you can line it up with where the cap is, and then just cut it off. Please don't cut your finger.
Ooh, the draw. That is a lovely draw.
It's a very sweet draw.
Fruity.
Mm. I'm getting sweet, fruity, and surprisingly tobacco.
Yeah.
I'm getting hibiscus. Like, did you know that fruity, herby kind of with a little bit of sourness in the hibiscus? Have you ever tried hibiscus tea?
Like a bit of an acidity.
Yeah, but with the fruitiness.
So what's interesting about this is that the binder and the wrapper are both from the Yamasa
Mm.
region.
And the filler
And the filler, I think, from what I remember,
was mix.
it was a mix of different places in Dominica and Nicaragua, I believe.
Nicaragua.
And what was that looks quite hazardous.
Oh, hope that doesn't cause a fire.
So what was interesting, um, so generally what they describe d- uh, the Yamaso trappers to be very kind of heavy on the spice and the earth. So and then with the sweetness is it was generally from
Can
the
you give me the
filler.
soft flame?
You don't try it with soft.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go old school. Just gonna go with 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 a normal flame on mine.
I think the joy of lighting with a match is so. I don't know. There's something about the caveman in you that just loves
Oh,
a naked flame.
playing with matches.
But yeah, this is just such an unusual taste of this cigar. Yeah, it tastes like something that I've not really tasted in cigars before.
So it's not
Is it a good
leathery.
thing or a bad thing?
I don't know, like it tastes very woody. Hmm. It's a very
Yeah.
peculiar taste.
For me, it reminds me of there's a spice. There's this. There's these woody like notes. There's a pepper in there. There's not much sweetness in the beginning.
Yeah, the cold draw had sweetness, but
Yeah, but now there's a bit of. I think it would probably build up as we get into it.
so Casa del Habano used to give us the long matches, which used to take more time burning, and then you could really light up your cigar. I don't know why they've
It's quite
resorted to
acidic
shorter
though, right?
ones.
For me, it's I don't really like know generally at how to identify acidic notes properly. But what's happening to me is that it's kind of giving me a bit of like dry mouth.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know what I mean.
that's
It's
that's why it was a
like dry
peculiar
mouth.
taste.
Yeah.
I once smoked a um, Bolivar number 2, which was like which was like a torpedo, and I completely coated the inside of my mouth, and it was the most. It was like a kind of like, what do you call it? Wax. It was like kind of
Mm.
like a wax in my mouth.
I think I've had one Bolivar. It was a heavy. It generally, it was a full smoke.
So yeah, this is definitely the most unique cigar I've smoked.
But the draw is fantastic on mine.
Yeah, the draw is
Perfect
perfect.
draw.
Yeah.
Flavor wise, I wouldn't say that. I've had flavors like this. I feel individually, but as a combination, like the with especially with the effect it's having on a palate, I feel it's quite unique. And I wonder if that's because of the Yamasa binder and wrapper. If that's the
So
kind of
what
characteristic
is
of
the
that.
Yamasa?
So it's a region in the Dominican Republic, I believe, where one of the master blenders of Davidoff, um, his name is Henke, I believe. He identified this area, which was Yamasa, where it was I, it was an area which was where the soil was not right. It was not conducive to grow tobacco. But then like they went in there, got to work on the soil, fixed it up, did a lot of changes in that specific region, and until they were able to grow tobacco plants. And and so the binder and the wrapper of this cigar are sourced specifically from that area.
I'm getting quite sour. No,
That's acidic notes, I feel.
acidic. Yeah.
It'll be interesting to try to identify that. And one of the things that 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 I remember of the documentary was that depending on which part of the plant
Yeah.
the the leaf is taken from, it plays a factor on what flavor or what flavor profiles you get. So generally speaking, there are three main parts of the tobacco plant. There's the volado leaves in the bottom, the seco leaves in the middle, and the ligero at the top. So the volado leaves are mainly like used for the filler. They're quite lacking in aroma, but what they do provide is a good burn. So with cigars, um, that that's quite important to maintain the burn as you smoke it, because with the
Yeah.
seco leaves and the ligero leaves, they don't they're the ones with the aromas and the flavor notes, but they don't necessarily burn that well because of the oils in them.
Right.
Then with the seco leaves, in the middle is where you generally get the majority of the sweeter lick notes, like the nutty flavors, the acidic flavors, are generally from the seco leaves. With the ligero leaves is where you get the strength of a cigar.
Because that's where the sun shines on them, right?
Yeah, and and the ligero leaves are generally the last to get harvested, so they're the ones that generally
Matured
spend
the
the most
most.
time,
Yeah.
in the in the sun. Um, and so what was interesting as well is that they with the specifications of like depends on that year. It depends on the weather patterns of that year. If it was, a sunny year, it has an effect on the flavor profiles,
Yeah.
then in turns it has an effect on the percentages of that specific kind of leaf that they'll use in the blend every year. So yeah, it's quite interesting just to kind of just to see how much detail it goes into smoke. It goes into creating
Yeah.
a good smoking experience.
So I've got a confession to make. When I first heard of Davidoff, I never associated it with cigars. I always associated it with Davidoff Cool Water, the perfume.
Really,
Yeah.
not the coffee. With me, it
Yeah,
was
or
always
the coffee, yeah.
a
Like
coffee
I would have
with
seen
with cigarettes is what I
yeah,
remember.
exactly. I would have seen them in the supermarket, a coffee or cigarettes or the cool water.
Yeah, for me it's cigarettes because my dad used to smoke
You
the
smoke them,
cigarettes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
He,
remember them
he used
when
to
I was a
smoke the
kid.
Davidoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, It was a big thing in the family. I remember a lot of people. I remember that was the brand they used to smoke, and I know that
And
because
it used to be
I used to
a
sneak.
hard cigarette. It used to be like a nicotine packed cigarette.
The funny thing is, like, it's actually a cigar brand that was so successful they ventured out into other things.
I never knew they started out as a
Yeah.
cigar brand.
So in 1906, Zilo Davidoff, he was born in what's now called Ukraine. Back then it wasn't 1906. And then basically his family owned a tobacco shop. And then he was interested in the world of cigars. And that's where he started to travel around the world. And then basically visited Cuba a lot of times, fell in love with cigars, and decided to create their own cigar in Cuba. And
Yeah.
that was before they moved into the Dominican Republic. So they created the whole brand in Cuba. And then in 1990, I believe,
Yeah.
that's where they moved.
So there's a funny story about that actually because they had a partnership with, I believe, the Cuban government when
Mm.
they were making the cigars in Cuba, but Davidoff became so upset with the quality that they burnt like 100,000 cigars
Yep,
because they thought the quality has become rubbish
yep,
and they wanted to move the production somewhere else. So they moved it to Dominican
yeah.
Republic.
Because unfortunately, they had no control over the quality, the
Mm.
grade, the production itself. How much can they produce? They were getting pressured a lot into produce more, produce more, produce more.
Mm.
Don't worry about quality and all that kind of thing. And they were like, nope, no, no, no. Quality makes more sense to us. And he passed away in 1994, like just 4 years after they actually moved to Dominica.
Mm.
I see sometimes in the auctions, Davidoff, Cuban Davidoffs coming up
Mm.
in auctions.
They're so rare.
I just have to say that this just smoothed it out insanely right now for me in the first third. It became really smooth.
It
Not
gave
much
me it gave
pepper.
me a dry mouth. I had to just take a couple of
Honestly,
sips of coffee.
the profile for me completely changed now. It's a lot smoother. It's a lot and you can really pick up on the sweet notes a lot easier now.
Yeah, I think it's very unique for me. I
Yeah.
think
Sorry, go ahead.
I think because of the whole Yamasa story about the soil and everything, it's giving quite a unique flavor to the cigar.
Mm.
It's funny to know how more times change, the more they stay the same. So right now we're having conflict in Ukraine, Russia, and that's what Davidoff was escaping when he left Ukraine to go to Geneva and set up the cigar shop,
Yep.
which is why it says Geneva on the label.
On the label, yeah. And just just speaking about what you mentioned in terms of the quality control. Now that like it was really obvious in the documentary itself as well that the amount of checks and balances that they have in almost every stage of production. Um, Now look, I like I I have to confess I don't know if other companies do the same or if they're doing the same kind of controls, but the fact that they have and one of the controls that they added was that they have a group of people that are just sorting the leaves by a touch in
Mm.
terms of the texture, because with the leaves can come from the same area of a plant, but if but if one plant on the same farm, let's say, if one plant is in an area that's a bit more downhill, that had access to a bit more water, it would generally um, develop like more oils in the leaf,
Yeah,
which these women can feel by hand, and 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 it will have an effect on the blend
Yep.
in the later stages of production. So that was really, really interesting as well, just to see the kind of amount of work that goes into crafting these cigars.
I think the Yamasa comes in multiple sizes. What we're smoking today is the Robusto.
The
It
Robusto
come Robusto. Sorry, it comes in Toro and the Pyramid.
and a pyramid as well, I
Yeah.
believe. Yeah.
I always find the size of Robustos to be
Yeah,
like an ideal,
manageable.
ideal size of a cigar. I think is you
It's a
kind
classic
of
size. It's a
yeah,
classic size.
exactly. And the thing is, no matter how you cut it, it's fine. You can cut it with a punch, with a V cut, or with a straight. Some cigars you can't, with a V cut. Like for example, the Conteros Panateles.
Yeah. The Quintero is a V cut. Yeah, you have to be, it's a
A
bit
bit
gentle.
bold too.
No, no. It's not just. It's just like any thing that's a lancero. You just have to be careful with the way
Because
that you
it's
cut it.
it's perfect for a punch, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it is perfect for a punch.
Have you ever cut a cigar twice? Like you start with a punch and then you go ahead with a
Yeah.
V cut or with a straight.
I don't know. I'd be honored to punch a cigar for you.
Thank you.
Would you now? To be honored.
Uh,
But yeah, that happens with me a lot with Cubans generally.
sorry. By the way, if you guys wanna know more about our inside joke that
Watch our
Omar just
previous
did,
episode.
please
No,
watch
watch
the
not the
2
previous
episodes back.
Yeah.
The episode with the gentleman from the Leaf Master. If you haven't watched that one, also the episode before this one, we've smoked some pretty unique and one of a kind Cuban cigars sent from a big friend and a fan of the podcast, Stuart from Glasgow. So
Yeah, well, shout out to Stuart.
make sure you check that episode out as well. And yeah, sorry, you were saying?
So Stuart also sent me a cigar, which looks very much like a Cohiba Bahiki 56. So I smoked that on Sunday. I went to meet a friend, and I smoked it for 3 hours, and it was the most beautiful 3 hours of smoking experience I've ever had in my
What
life.
do you say it's the best cigar you've smoked?
I think so.
Wow,
Wow.
that's high praise.
And it didn't have a label on it, but it looked like a Bahiki 56. And it was so good that there's a cigar shop there, right? Hidden Lounge.
Hmm.
And the guy who came to tell us about the lounge, he was like, "What is this cigar? It looks amazing." And I was like, "I don't even really know what it is, but it looks like a Bahiki 56." And it was insane. My friend Hamza, he smoked 2 cigars while I was sitting there smoking this one, and it was amazing. So now I only meet people who are fans of the podcast.
Yeah, that's a new policy that we have.
Shout out to Hamza as well.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
he's a fan of the podcast. He's a friend of the podcast as well.
We met him at the launch of the Oliva by Amarati. Amarati by Oliva, I think. Amarati by Oliva.
Is it true over the last week that the fame is getting to your head?
Yeah. After that one episode and with the success of our shorts, I'd say I've been walking around places expecting people to kind of say, "Hey, aren't you that tall guy?" And
Maybe that's why he was upset when he walked into that shop that sells everything in Saudi. He's like, "Don't you know who I am?"
Exactly. I'm too big for this town. I expect flavor in my food.
See, what are your thoughts on the cigar? I want to
I'm
say
really
mine.
enjoying it.
I'm going to tell you that I've never been to a volcano. But for some reason, I can taste like volcano earth in my cigar. I don't know why.
I think you're stretching.
I don't know
what
why,
the hell
but-
is volcano earth?
So I'm gonna just
Are there
created a new
volcanoes
note.
in Glasgow that we've
I
never
don't
heard
know,
of?
man. I'm tasting volcano.
What is volcano?
I don't know.
What, death? Like what does
I don't
volcano?
know. I don't know.
Taste like?
I don't know. It just tastes like
So are you tasting like the ash?
Yes,
Is that what you
yeah,
say?
exactly.
The taste of
Like
ash.
what I can
Yeah.
imagine what a volcano ash would taste like. This is what the cigar tastes like.
That's a lot of man. Okay. Have you ever been close to a volcano in your life?
No,
So then, how can okay? So
like
so what's the
I've
difference? Okay,
watched
what's the
video.
difference between volcano ash and just ash? Would you put a difference between the two of those things?
One is hot, one is not.
I think that you should start contributing to the blog reviews with your palette. I feel you can get some crazy like notes in there. The volcano ash,
My problem with
leathery volcano
yeah,
ash.
my problem with doing a cigar review would be I do not have the patience to sit there for 1.5 hours and make notes of every single thing I'm tasting, which clearly you do. You're an expert
I'm
in
not
that.
an, I'm just I'm a fan of.
He's just
I'm
he
not an
has the
expert.
patience to sit
I have the
Yeah,
patience,
for a couple of
but
hours.
I'm not an expert. Like especially when you read these like reviews online, just on the nose, like that initial smell of a cigar. I was just like reading a review of this, and the guy he got like graham cracker pepper. It's like maybe like six different like nose
Oh,
of the
cotton candy
smell.
as well. Like I
It's
was looking, it's
insane.
like I got cotton candy. I'm like, I don't even remember what cotton candy tastes like. The last time I've had it
Yeah,
is like
man.
years ago.
So I would like say that with industry standard, our palettes are very very
No, but I also
amateur.
honestly, I also think that people sometimes over exaggerate like what they're picking up. Right? It's again, it's all about what the taste actually resembles in your head. Right? What you remember.
Yeah.
If you know what I don't know. What volcano ash tastes
Volcano.
like, volcano ash, you're just gonna pick it up. It's
Well, look, I have a theory. Maybe it's not true, but I have a theory. If if you've been accustomed to bland foods all your life, you can pick up on the slightest of notes. Like, oh, this is it has a touch of cinnamon or
Yeah,
something like
which is
that.
why you're the cigar expert, right?
I'm not a cigar expert. Stop calling me a cigar expert. Yeah, but like if you've like like if some people here like destroyed your palate eating spicy foods all of your life, but then you get that then you end up tasting volcano ash in your smokes.
I kind of get it. There's that ashy kind of taste.
Did you have spicy food before coming here or
No,
something?
but you're not getting
I
like
honestly I get what he's saying. Like not the volcano bit, but
yeah,
the
But
ash.
like the
Yeah, the
okay,
the
ashy.
ashy kind
Like
of.
you know
it's like a
how
dry mouth.
it's the aftertaste in your mouth. Like do you know how when you're done smoking and then the ashtray is there, you walk out
Yeah,
of the room, you come back with you smell the ashtray, you pick
exactly.
up that thing.
Yeah, but like
It's the
I
same.
understand that, but when you said volcano, like, do you know where my mind it took me? It took me to that to the scene in Lord of the Rings where Frodo and Sam were on Mount Doom
Exactly. So if they tasted that earth, it would
If they were
literally
smoking a
be.
cigar there, they would have got
over there
that.
just before Gollum came to take the ring.
But that was filmed in the Yamasá area.
No, it was filmed in New Zealand, man. Get out of here with that.
No, there's a Yamasá region in New
In New
Zealand.
Zealand, yeah.
You know what they had to do with in the Yamasá region, because the soil was so destroyed.
Yeah.
They had to actually put sodium and nitrate and I'm gonna butcher this. I don't know another element.
They had to neutralize it.
Yeah, they had to put them directly where on every plant because the soil didn't have any. So they had to actually put some sodium and X other thing on the soil on every plant so that it takes it because it didn't have any.
We need a producer sitting in the room who can just check.
Exactly.
We're
Maybe,
gonna
maybe that's a volcanic area.
Maybe. The thing is, both of you have
hopefully.
your phones on. I have my phone there recording, and my laptop over there recording as well. I can't even look things up.
Well. Like let's well, anyway, there are plans in the works to hopefully in the next couple of episodes we're gonna get a Jamie of our own.
Yeah,
So I'm pretty excited to get Jamie on.
we'll have.
We need to find him You can't call him Budget Jamie. I'm sorry.
No, it's just call him Jamie. Tell us. Habano
No,
Jamie.
no. We'll find him. Like we'll see what his personality is, and then we'll see what he comes in to be.
His nickname is Moki.
There you go. We have a Moki.
Yeah,
Oh, what?
Is it like
What's his
a
real name?
Mowgli?
Hisham.
What's the significance of that name?
The name Hisham.
No,
The nickname.
of Moki. Like, where's the?
I don't know. That his dad started calling him.
Does it have a
when he was-
meaning?
No, just like his dad used to call me Gobly.
Is
Which
he your?
I think.
Is he like your brother?
Yeah, Asif.
Oh,
No, Asif.
So he's Asif's son.
Asif's son.
it's his Az's son. Okay.
So it's a good cigar to rest every now and then, honestly. And I think it's a bit hard. Like
It
it's a
heats
bit.
up quite
It's a
quick.
bit.
It's quite strong.
Yeah, it is.
I wish you guys could smoke that 3-hour cigar that I smoked.
Well, you know,
Yeah, hear that, Stuart?
if only we knew a guy that had a bunch of those.
Only
Only if we knew a guy.
Thing is, sometimes he sends me pictures of him just walking around Glasgow smoking that particular cigar.
Well, he's more than welcome to come and smoke them here.
it's more than welcome to come have a walk with us, smoking that kind of cigar.
Maybe we could do an episode just walking about the park.
Have you ever seen someone smoking a cigar outside here in Dubai?
No.
But in Glasgow, you have a bunch of people that can.
Well, I
Just
know.
normally
I
walk
know
around.
Stuart does. So. For me, like a cigar is when I'm sitting and then just relaxing.
Mm.
But there are people who walk and smoke. And for me, I like having my water, my coffee around while I'm doing it.
Yeah, and plus over here, like you can only smoke outside for like a few months in a year, and the rest of the time, you know,
You're smoking Volcano Ash
no,
because of the
you-
heat.
Yeah, because of the heat. So it's not like I'd say like November to like probably in April is when we can't. By the end of April, I feel we won't be able to
Yeah,
smoke
I
outside
think it's
anymore.
like May.
The beginning of May is when khalas, yeah, you know, it'll be
Yeah, remember
too
last
hot.
year the
Rain.
whole rain and stuff happened around that time anyways.
It
What,
happened
with the
around
flooding?
Yeah.
mid-April.
Mid-April.
Yeah.
Then it rained again end of April.
Yeah.
But this year it's not rained much.
I think
They haven't
that
rained at all.
with,
Like just a couple of drizzles, that's it.
with what happened last year, like yeah, no, we're not going
No,
to
but that
Cloud
was
seeding is-
anymore.
But
Yeah.
that was nothing to do with cloud seeding.
Really?
Not a tiny bit of
No.
Oh,
You know why? Because that day I was flying back to Dubai. So when the exact moment of the storm, I was in the plane. I took off from Lahore. Within half an hour of the flight, the storm started. So the flight is normally what 2.5 hours. The pilot took the plane deep into Iran to try to avoid the storm. But
Really?
it wasn't. The storm was in Iran. It was in Oman, UAE. It was a very big storm. It was so big that in Oman, like a school bus crashed and so many kids died that same day. In Iran, our plane was just going up and down. It was just crazy. I was just holding the sick bag the whole time. It was horrible.
How long were you on that flight? Because of the
4.5
detour?
hours.
Wow.
It's 2 extra hours.
2 extra hours of just circling around. And, oh, it was horrible. The worst
That
flight
is-
I've ever had in my life. I thought I'm done. I'm gone.
Wow.
The
that must
flight
have
was
been
just
crazy.
like up and down, like all over the place.
Must have been crazy.
No, it was crazy. So that's why, if anybody ever says it was cloud seeding, I completely disagree because how could it be such a widespread?
Yeah,
storm?
and just yeah, that's true.
The thing is, usually what happens with cloud, there is a storm, there are clouds forming. They just do cloud seeding to enhance that.
To enhance the rainfall.
So
right?
yeah, the storm was forming, everything was all over, but maybe they wanted to enhance because the floodings that happened here
Yeah.
were so intense compared to the other parts.
Yeah, like
But
Mudden
also
was like
because of the
underwater.
infrastructure, right? It's not used to get that much water.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the amount of water that went down would literally fill dams, right? And I think they did a good job because yes, a lot of things flooded, a lot of things got damaged. But technically speaking, like it took like a week, less than a week, to open up the majority of roads. If something like this happens in like another country, I think it'll take them months to just recover from it. It's not easy.
So
Yeah.
the next day, I had some work to do in data. So I got out of the house, and most of every underpass was basically closed. So they were trying to push the traffic somehow towards the desert. I came out of my house. I ended up in the desert somewhere. I ended up on this road, and I was basically parallel to the road, but I was on a different section. I could only see the tops of the cars and buses.
Yeah,
In the
yeah.
underpasses.
No, the whole
They're
road.
all
On the road
underwater.
itself.
The whole road was
Wow.
flooded. You could only see the tops of the
Yeah,
cars. It was insane.
yeah, it was crazy. Thing is, don't buy a used car for the
Yeah.
next couple of years.
Dude, like with the insurance rates just went skyrocketing.
It
Like
did.
1 year, like now when I
And
had to
dude,
renew, it was
a
like,
lot of insurances, they went ahead and they started removing natural causes.
yeah,
So you actually have to pay extra just to get that in your policy. And that's the thing. Like, everyone was like, "Where's Alfred?"
yeah. Where's Alfred?
It's like he disappeared.
This is becoming a lot more smooth now.
Yep. Now it's becoming like a cigar that.
For me, this is like probably like one of the fuller smokes.
Yeah, I'm
that I've
enjoying the
had.
transition though. Second, third, I'm getting a bit more
But the transition isn't that smooth. It just transitions straight away.
exact.
Like you're getting something,
Yeah.
another puff, you're getting something completely different. Speaking of Davidoff, I know you guys watch a lot or read a lot about the Davidoff of London. Have you ever been to the shop?
No.
No,
Do you guys know the story behind it? How it started? Like, is it actually associated with Davidoff, or it's
what's
just
the
a shop?
Hackins that?
Yeah, Sahakian. So what he did was I watched the. There's a really one of my favorite cigar videos is Kirby Allison when he went to Sahakian's Davidoff for London, sat down with a father and son, and smoked a cigar with him. Smoked a
He's
Davidoff
done it multiple
multiple
episodes.
times after
Yeah.
that. But the first time he did it, they talk about the son talks about how he gets into the business. The father talks about how he gets into the business, and basically what happened was the father was I think he'd originally come from Iran,
Hmm.
and he was in London and he was looking to do something in business, and he wrote a letter to Davidoff and said I want to open up a shop in London. And they came back. Initially, they said no, but eventually they said yes. Okay, you can set up your own shop. And then he started traveling to Cuba and bringing the supply, and that's how he
So
started.
that was before
What year
Davidoff
was this
basically
then?
moved to
Yeah.
Dominica.
Exactly.
So this was probably like back in the 80s or
Yeah, it
70s.
must be in the 70s, 80s. But I think Davidoff also invented the humidor.
Like the modern day humidors?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
they're a fascinating company because, like,
Innovations.
they actually, how you go to Tom Ford or someone and you want to pick a scent and there's like a summer scent.
Hmm.
There's always like a summer breeze, summer scent. That was actually started off with Davidoff Cool Water.
With the perfume.
They created the
They
summer.
created that kind of summer perfume.
They have a note. It's aqua.
Yeah, aqua, exactly. Yeah.
Resembles like the sea, basically.
That's
the water.
exactly it. Yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe they should bring out one for the volcanic ash.
Yeah, volcano
Yeah.
ash scent.
Actually, they do have. There's cool water and there's hot water, I think. There's the red one. No, I'm serious. There's a Davidoff. There's a red one. I don't know what it's called, but yeah, there's a red
Yeah,
one.
but not hot water. It's like a tap, you know.
Cool water,
Cool water and hot water.
I'm pretty sure it is called that.
I've never gotten much into perfumes and scents in general, but I think that you have or you've invested in a
Yeah.
company that does it. What got you like to invest in perfumes? Like, what was the driving thing behind that for you?
I think it was during COVID times. I was staying in downtown, and there wasn't much to do because you were pretty much stuck. So I thought, okay, I'll go for a walk. And I went into the Dubai Mall, and I don't know, I just started smelling some of the perfumes, and I thought, my God, why have I never discovered these before? Like the Tom Ford ones, Tuscan leather,
Hombre.
umber leather. There's so many diverse perfumes out there, and so many different brands, and some of them are very very expensive.
Mm.
And I just thought this is just so beautiful. So many different varieties. Literally, you can smell anything from like actual oud, pure. Like, have you ever gone to Louis Vuitton and tried their pure oud?
No, I haven't.
It actually smells like poo.
It smells like
It smells like,
poop.
Shit.
yeah,
Oh, really?
See,
literally.
thing is, if you wanna smell like pure oud,
That's what it
go to
smells
an
like,
oud store.
and that's what it smells like.
Yeah, yeah,
Barnyard.
that like the oil oud, the ones that
Yeah.
they put, the duhn oud, smells so pungent, so
And
strong.
it's very expensive, by
It
the
is
way.
very expensive because they sell it in like tolas in like small like
Mm.
5 mils bottles, and they are so strong that you put it on and it changes the smell, and also from like one person to the other depends on your skin, depends on the oils on your skin. It
Really?
changes. Yeah, it's different. Like when I put a perfume, it doesn't necessarily suit you. It's not like a perfume smells good on all of us. No, no. Everyone has kind of like a scent that smells on. Like for example, patchouli for you will smell different on me, smell different on Omar.
Yeah.
No way. So, I was actually gifted by my mother-in-law a small tola
Mm.
of oud. I remember, and like like you mentioned, it had a very strong pungent smell, and
It's like barnyard.
asked my wife, I'm like, this is like really strong. She's like, yeah, but like once you put it on your skin, you're supposed to put it on, half an hour
Yeah.
before you
Yeah.
get out of the house, because it's going to get better as time
Yeah.
The
goes by,
silage is way stronger.
and it lasts a lot longer on
Give
on
me
your
the jet
skin
phone.
than like normal perfume.
Man, I'm really enjoying the second third.
With me, it's giving me quite a head rush.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe just because I've had a long uh, day today, but like I'm this is I'm feeling the strength on this one.
Man, for me, I think this is the most unique cigar I've smoked, and I enjoy that. Enjoy smoking something different. Let's get some more.
So I was looking up like stores, Davidoff shops, franchises around, and I found that there's one in Oman, in Muscat.
With Davidoff, like
It's kind of similar
standalone.
to the Davidoff of London.
We don't have one here, right?
There's no one here. There's no
So
one shop that is like for Davidoff
yeah, yeah.
or like a franchisee or
I
something.
think that the group, if, I might be wrong on this, but I think that the group that owns Smokers Center, they're the ones
Yeah,
that have the rights of
Yeah.
of
Davidoff.
yeah. But that's the thing. You don't really see them much, and I don't know.
That's true. You don't really, like, generally in humidors. I think with the one here in Vintage was one of the only ones I saw that they have a box of Year of the Snake,
Yeah,
and they have also a
the
box
royal,
of the what's the name of the other one?
the blue one,
Yeah, with the blue one, but the name escapes me now.
royal something. There's a
Yeah.
royal on it. Yeah, and then there's like a couple black boxes as well. A Davidoff. I'm not sure which one.
For me, if we ever get our hands on the Year of the Snake, it would be a really, really nice episode to have.
I think we need to have another Davidoff day where we smoke either one of the late hours
100%.
or one of the special editions. So, what is the Year of the Snake? That's to do with the Chinese New Year.
Yeah, so I think, in terms of marketing, they've done a good job of releasing a special blend once a year based on on the Chinese zodiac. So with last year, I believe it was the year of the dragon.
Mm.
Um, this year is the year of the snake.
So what does it mean? What does all these
What?
years mean?
So it's based on the Chinese zodiac.
What's that?
So with the Chinese, they have in their tradition. Um, now, generally with the Western zodiac, it's based on the month that you're born,
Yeah,
right? So with the Chinese, they don't have that, but they have,
the year itself.
yeah, so they have the year itself.
Yeah.
And like the normal zodiac, if you believe in that kind of stuff, it determines specific kind of aspects of. So the people born in that year have specific characteristics in
Yeah.
terms of personalities and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if that's
Are you
significant.
born in the year of the rat?
No,
You're a snake, right?
I'm the year of the snake.
There's
What?
rabbit, there's snake, there's dragon,
There's a
bunch of animals. There's
pig
the
as
year of the
well.
pig. Yeah,
There's the year of the pig, all that kind of stuff. Every character, for me, I just take that generally with a grain of salt, just because like you can't really classify like millions of people that were born in that one year. They all have this exact like, same general characteristic.
imagine
I
like
feel it's a
one day
bit
they'll be
weird.
like, you know what? People born in the year of the snake are all assholes. Let's just look them up,
Yeah,
and then they
like,
go ahead and they look up
and
everyone that's born in that
and
specific
it
year.
is China, by the way. So
So don't quote me on this, but where we're smoking on Sunday, which will be at the Ritz Carlton, there's a cigar room. It's called the Hidden Room, and the cigar shop there is called the 1891 or something. You know where their first cigar shop is in Dubai? You'll never
1891.
guess. You'll never guess.
No, I have no idea.
Most unexpected place.
The first shop that they opened up, you mean?
Yeah,
In Karama or something.
yeah. So it was. So they're in the Ritz Carlton now. Before that, they were in International City.
International City.
Yeah, because they have a lot of Chinese clientele.
Yeah,
No
they
way.
love cigars.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why the Davidoff always does like, and it's not only Davidoff. I know there's a lot of brands that does Year of the Snake, Year of the Dragon, stuff like that.
So that's why Cuban cigars have become really hard to get as well, because there's so much demand in China.
Well, and fakes. So imagine you walk down the like Dragon Mart and someone goes, you know those people that come and is like, you want some bags,
Some bags,
watches,
some watches,
it's like cigars,
and cigars.
grade A, master copy.
There's
Yeah.
actually quite a nice coffee shop in Dragon Mart. I think it's called Cortado, and they
In the old Dragon Mart, like
I
the
think in the old Dragon, and they roast their own beans. It's quite good. So I have a friend in Dubai. His name is Faisal, and he's really into his coffee. So one of the episodes I'm planning is there's a cigar brand that's sold through the Leaf Master called Cafe,
Mm.
and I've been in talks with the owner, George, and what they do is they provide the cigars, but with a coffee pairing.
Really?
Yeah,
send you the beans with the.
exactly. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a cigar from the Leaf Master and get the coffee pairing, and we're gonna smoke it with my friend Faisal in his garden, and we'll see what the fuss is about.
That'll be a fun one to shoot.
Huh.
Yeah, because because people kind of pair cigars themselves when they're smoking. But imagine you get a cigar from the people who are manufacturing this, the owners of the cigar, and they tell you, by the way, we paired it with this coffee bean. You like drink
That's-
it with this coffee bean.
That's quite interesting because if they also do they also grow with their own beans, coffee, or you don't know?
So I think they no, I don't know, to be honest.
What would be interesting is that to kind of because that region, Colombia and generally Central America, are also like known for their coffee as well.
Hmm.
So it'll be interesting just to like, kind of like know if there's a connection to the place it's grown. Like let's
Like the
say,
soil, you mean?
yeah, like the soil itself. Like if if the tobacco plant that's grown beside, let's say, a coffee crop in the same region, if the flavor profiles
Yeah.
of the tobacco and the flavor profiles of the coffee complement each other just
Yeah.
because that they're grown in the same
So
region.
what we should do is take it one step further and have a coffee, cigar, and chocolate pairing, all from the same region.
That'd be
You could
a
probably do
lot of
that
fun.
like Ecuador or something,
Yeah,
Mm.
because there's Ecuadorian cigars, Ecuadorian coffee, and chocolate. There's a $1 billion idea for you.
that is.
Oh.
Oh man, I'm lightheaded. I'm pretty lightheaded. I don't know
I think we're all lightheaded.
if
That's why
it's
we're just talking
if
alone.
it's hitting with you guys, but this is hitting me
Still better than that Epicarillo that we smoked.
in
That one
terms of
kicked me up.
strength.
That
Honestly,
one
with
was,
That was really strong,
yeah. Like this is still not as strong as that one.
but I'm feeling this. You know.
I'm feeling this really maybe because I didn't eat much and just had a long day, but this is like really is hitting me.
So what are we smoking on Tuesday?
On Tuesday, for the movie night, I so on my recent trip to Saudi, I flew out of Terminal 2, and generally when I travel, I pack in my carry-on, basically a Tupperware box
No.
with a Boveda pack, just in case when I go to duty free, if I get some cigars, I'll have a place to store them. And my wife isn't really a big fan of that idea, just because I'm taking up the space of half the carry on with my with my Tupperware box. And we were flying out of a Terminal 2, so I didn't have much hope, because it's out of the three terminals, it's the one with the smallest humidor, I'd say.
Yeah.
But this time I got quite lucky. Where they had two humidors that basically looked like that.
Mm.
Mm.
And they were one of them was completely stocked with Cubans, and one was completely stocked with non-Cubans. And I got my hands on Jose de Pedra, Piedra, uh,
Pedro.
Pedro,
Jose El Pedro.
Jose del Pedro, Pedro, um, and I bought around 36 sticks off there, and I think I've basically I like to have in my humidor a bunch of
Yep.
budget sticks,
You
and
got
my
36,
36,
and you only gave me
12,
two.
12, 12. And I gave you guys two
I
each.
smoked around 12. I smoked 12 of those.
Yeah. So
They're my go-to everyday Cuban.
everyday Cubans. Now, generally, mines have been Quinteros, specifically that Paneleta. So I'm excited to get into these.
Yeah, not a single one of the ones I smoked had any issues with the draw.
Oh, really?
Not a single one.
So yeah. So
I've
Are,
never.
are they machine made?
I don't know.
No, they're a short filler, but they're
Hmm.
not machine made.
So yeah. So for the movie night, generally because we're gonna have a lot of people that are not cigar smokers, so I'd be more comfortable giving them
Budget smokes.
basically a budget stick, rather than an expensive stick. Because one of the pet peeves I have is when you give
When
a
you leave a
person,
cigar this one, like
not really, like any, look, I'm okay if they smoke it like to just once they get into the last third, then they stop there, it's fine. But man, it really hurts when I give a person a quality stick, and they smoke it just for a few puffs, and then they just like leave it there.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
man,
that's like with my brother when I
like
give him a Cohiba.
Ooh.
you know, and it's just and they smoke a bit of it, then
Yeah.
they stop smoking. I'm like, man, so I'll be more comfortable giving them like a budget stick.
But it's still a good
Yeah.
cigar, to be honest.
It's a good smoke, it's not a bad smoke, but like especially in the beginning, if you're not really into cigars, or or if you're not a fan of smoking in general,
Hmm.
then you're probably not gonna like last, like, no matter how smooth it is, or you're not even gonna be able to kind of tell the difference between what's a smooth smoke
Yeah.
and what's a harsh smoke.
This. I'm feeling this is so strong. I'm struggling to retrohale.
No, don't. I've read a lot about this and retrohaling.
It's not.
It's too strong for that.
It's all that volcano ash. I'm
Uh,
telling you. So I've got a funny story about Terminal 2 actually. So me and my brother Asif, we were flying out of Terminal 2 once, and we were flying to Pakistan, and we are waiting in the line to board because and it's not linked to the air bridges. You have to take a bus.
Mm.
So we're just waiting in the queue to get the bus, and we see a guy sleeping next to the gate. So my brother says to me, "Look, maybe that guy's supposed to be on our flight, and he's sleeping. Why don't you just go wake him up so he doesn't miss his flight?" So I go, and he's like sleeping under the bench. I go, "Brother, wake up! It's the flight's time now." And he wakes up and he's like completely out of it. I don't know. Completely intoxicated. And I'm like, "Brother, our flight to Pakistan is boarding now." He's like, "Oh, I'm going to Saudi." And it turned out his flight was like 3 hours ago,
the
and he'd been sleeping for hours.
No one bothered to wake me
Oh,
up.
bro.
And he's like annoyed. Why did I wake him up? I was like, okay, sorry. I was helping you.
It's like, dude, I just missed my flight. Just let me
Yeah,
sleep.
just like,
I'll wake up at night and just go
I'll
to
get
the
the
next
next
one.
one.
Any plans this Eid, guys?
I'm going to Riyadh to visit my brother, and my dad as well is gonna be there. um, I'm quite excited. uh, I've had a lot of memorable smokes with my brother. He's also into cigars.
Yeah.
Um, and he's the kind that would probably, if he has maybe 10 cigars in his humidor, he'd smoke probably one every 3-4 months.
Hmm.
So he actually smoked this Yamasa probably a couple of weeks back, on a call that I was having with him, and yeah, and he enjoyed it as well. And yeah, I really like we've mentioned in like in other podcasts, or in other episodes, that when you smoke a cigar with a person, it kind of the both of you are there to kind of get into like a good quality kind of a conversation.
Hmm.
And yeah, so generally, one of the, we had I had a trip with my brother to Georgia. This was in 2021, and in that trip we both stocked up on good cigars.
Hmm.
So in the space of a week, we smoked Romeo and Juliet. We smoked, a short Churchill. It was the only time I smoked that.
Yeah.
We both smoked the Hoya del Monterrey. I think Epicure number 2.
Mm.
Um, we smoked, and I smoked my only Trinidad also on that trip. All of them were very, very, I'd say, unique smokes. Very enjoyable, and I smoked the Davidoff number 2 as
Right.
well on that trip. Um, so yeah, pretty excited to kind of, and we're flying out of Terminal 1 this time, so I'm hoping to get my hands on a couple of good quality sticks.
Yeah.
And yeah, and the weather in Riyadh, my brother was telling me, is it's quite nice, but it's quite dry over there. So
Yeah.
if so if anybody's planning to travel there with their cigars, make sure that you have your Boveda packs in
Yeah.
hand, because they will dry up quite quickly
Yeah.
if you don't have a proper place to store them. That's one of the drawbacks I feel about living in a place that has a quite like low humidity. Just because my brother was telling me that he had experiences when he'd smoke, probably when he'd smoke beside the pool.
Yeah.
He's like, by the time I take it out of my humidor, and I'm in the pool, when I'm halfway to done with the smoke, it begins unraveling on him, just because of how dry it is over there.
Well,
But speaking of Saudi, it's uh I was just looking up a few lounges, and the last time I went was in 2020, was in September of 2023 was the last time I went, and from then till now there's been, I feel, an explosion of lounges, of
Mm.
shops that are all supplying cigars. So I think there's quite an up and coming cigar scene in
What about the
Saudi.
prices compared to like the prices we see
My
here?
brother told me that they're quite high over there. Maybe just because, like with anything, well, once
yeah.
there's a big hype
Mm.
in the market and stuff like that. Omar's been spamming us with these pictures of these special KSA smokes. Would you wanna
Yeah. So
tell
it
us what's so
seems like
special about those?
there's a Prince Khalid, Al Saud, who has his own cigar brand called KSA, and my understanding is that Habanos SA creates Cuban cigars specifically for him, which he gifts out to his friends. So I'd love to get a hold of these.
I'll see if my brother's his friend. Maybe
Yeah,
we can
please.
get my hands on
Have
those.
you seen the jars that come
Yeah,
with
it's so
the
cool.
cigar? Yeah, they come in like this ceramic jar.
And then it numbered
Yeah,
like 1 out of 500 or something.
So just understand that these are not for sale. You can only be
Yeah,
gifted. Basically.
gifted these cigars.
yeah. So I asked Grok how I can get a hold of these KSA cigars. It suggested me that you go to Casa del Habano in Riyadh and you ask them, because obviously they're supplied by Habanos SA, so they would most likely know how you can get a
I
hold
can
of.
get a hold of. Well, I mean, I think if the prince, if one day he becomes a fan of the pod, maybe if we could, if we start putting Arabic subtitles on our
I'm
episodes,
sure he speaks English.
just in case, just kind of make it more accessible for people that prefer
No, we will. We
Arabic.
will. We will soon start putting subtitles. Maybe do like small segments in Arabic as well. I think there's a need for Arabic when it comes to cigars
Yeah,
Yeah,
in this region, and
maybe.
this is what I love about the Leaf Master. Like they've been always pushing stuff in Arabic as well. So if you look at their Instagram page, um, the majority of the videos that they shoot, whether it's from the humidor or videos about specific things in their shop, they always have an English and an Arabic version as well.
Yeah.
So there is a need for
Mm.
that.
Arabic content
Yep.
to get out
And
there.
I've seen a lot of people like, and also I was talking with our cousin Wasim.
Mm.
There's a lot of cigar aficionados and enthusiasts in Kuwait.
Yeah, there's
It's a big
biggest
scene
cigar scene.
in Kuwait as well.
Yeah.
Like he was saying me, there's a lot of really nice lounges. Oman has their own Davidoff shop in Muscat. That's something that we one day need to drive all the way to Oman and experience.
Yeah,
I think in
and
1 year's time, we're going to be flying around the Middle East, checking out the cigar communities in different
100%.
cities.
That'll be a lot of fun. And Omar's been brushing up on his Arabic as well. Hada,
Hada.
hada, you know.
Yeah.
That's and we're gonna have to teach you a couple of other liqueurs.
No,
to
هذا is
use.
fine. هذا cigar, هذا
Hada
cigar,
cigar,
هذا
Hada
cigar.
coffee.
hada coffee.
I think the reason why we need subtitles is so people can understand what I'm saying.
Because of your Scottish accent. We're gonna so we're gonna have to put Arabic and English,
Yeah.
like in the cinema.
هذا leather.
Hada
Hada
leather. Oh, I'm really enjoying this, but it's like very strong. I'm gonna need a strong suhoor.
Proper
After
suhoor.
this.
Yeah.
This has been probably one of the most memorable Ramadans I've had. Generally, I haven't been. This has probably been this past month or so, month or two. I've smoked probably the most variety of cigars I've ever smoked. I kind of would you guys know how do you have buyer's regret
Mm.
when you buy something then just after you buy it you slightly regret it. So believe it or not, I had that with the
Quinteros.
with the no with the Piedros I bought this
Yeah.
time, because I showed you with the pictures. I had a choice of either buying 36 Piedras, or with
Yeah.
the same price I could have bought four Davidoff Toro white label, I believe.
Yeah.
Mm.
And in hindsight, I think if I bought those, we would have probably had a proper episode with those.
No, see, I get what you're saying, but also at the same time, I'm a firm believer that everyone should have in their humidor a daily stick, like a budget thing that you can.
Yeah, like a Monte Cristo number 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's if you're like Omar,
Like,
that'd
and
be your
you
daily
went
stick.
through all your conteros, so you needed something that have, because you're flying also from Terminal 1, so I don't know what you're gonna find in Terminal 1, but
That's
maybe you'll
true.
find something.
But like we've been I haven't had the time like to do a daily stick these days, because I mean generally
Because
with the
of,
way
yeah.
that we're shooting, I'm just looking forward like to with the smoke that we're gonna have on the episode itself. So generally I think what's been changing with me is that or I mean, with the way that I've been changing just because of this podcast is that I think that I'm slightly changing.
Like, I only
I'm
smoke
not
premium
becoming
now.
that much budget anymore. Like it's not
Oh, come on.
rubbing me.
We need
You know,
we need the
it's
budget in
not.
here.
It's you know,
I
it's
think
not
Stuart's ruined our
tickling me the
yeah.
right way anymore.
Stuart's ruined our perception of
He
cigars.
really has, like,
Yeah.
especially when we smoke those limited editions. It's
Yeah.
like that was probably if I had to choose that Ramon Alones was the best steak I've had.
Yeah.
Same with
Just
my Partagas.
with the smoothness of it, with the we smoked it all the way down to the nub. It was something special.
You know how you mentioned how your brother smokes one every 3-4 months, keeps in his humidor. That was me before the podcast.
Really,
I never really had any daily smoke. I would smoke whenever the occasion arose. Every couple of months, I would smoke a cigar, but it would be a good cigar. But now, because of the podcast, we're smoking every week. It's again changed the way we see cigars. They
really
are
has.
they are really, really diverse. Like this Yamasa is completely different to everything else I've smoked,
Yeah,
and the strength. Like when we were speaking to the guys at Leaf Master, they were saying you have to look at a cigar from the point of view of strength and body.
yeah,
And I think this cigar has both. It has strength and it has body.
Mm.
The body is that mouthful that you're feeling,
yeah.
whereas the EP Criollo was more strength, less body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Cuban limited editions that I smoked the H. Upman. That was a lot lighter.
So the body was there, but not
But
much
the
strength.
strength, yeah.
Exactly.
What do you have a preference? I prefer if I had to choose, I'd choose a smoke with a lot of body, not much strength.
So
I'm not a big fan of the head rushes that you get when you smoke, generally
so
speaking.
that 3 hour smoke that I had was light medium strength, medium body, and I smoked it all the way to the nub. So 3 hours, it was the most incredible experience.
Oh man, we should one day. I feel well, and one of the things that made me want to do that after I watched that documentary, and specifically after we spoke to with Raed and Abdu, is that they mentioned that the trips they took to Central America
Yeah.
to the to Dominica, etc., and these places. I think when you have a trip like that, it will completely change your perspective on cigars.
So I was talking to Hamza, he's from the US, and I was talking to him about Central America, and he's like, "What's that?" So because they're from the US, they see everything below the US as South America.
Really?
Yeah. So they see Cuba and everything as being South America, whereas we consider it like Central America.
Yeah, because we're not very, we're but
It's a
that would be
different
a trip of a
perspective, right?
lifetime. I
Yeah.
feel.
I think the most excited I would be to go to Nicaragua.
Why is that? Why specifically Nicaragua?
I think Nicaragua has the most interesting smokes
Care to
because
share a few examples?
why? Because you have very small independent cigar factories dotted around Nicaragua, where you can actually go to the farm and meet them and smoke it. Whereas Cuba doesn't have that, right? Cuba has Habano del Podcasto, which has a monopoly.
Mm.
There are smaller farms, but they're not giving you the branded cigars, right?
Mm.
They just have farm rolls. Whereas Nicaragua, you can actually go to those factories. And
Dominica, is it the same as Nicaragua?
Dominica, I think, is a lot bigger brands, like
Mm.
Arturo Fuente, Davidoff, where Nicaragua has a lot of the smaller
Yeah.
factories,
Mm.
which is why if you ever see, like, for example, Amarati,
Mm.
those are Nicaraguans,
Nicaraguan smokes.
because that's where you can go and you can actually go to the smaller.
Oliva's is Nicaraguan mostly.
I think so. I'm not sure.
If you get to do your own cigar, where would you do it?
Where?
Nicaragua.
Pakistan.
Yeah.
Because if you have a farm already, then
Yeah.
you're halfway there. I think.
But I don't know if the quality of the tobacco would be like.
There's only one way to find out.
Yeah. Well, the first Pakistani tobacco.
Okay, so I'll provide you the land. You get
we get
you
we
get the roller and the seeds.
the seeds and we start. Maybe once we retire and stuff, that can be our life.
So,
I
what
think
flavors are you getting? Mangoes. Getting
No.
a bunch of mangoes.
I think it's illegal to take Cuban cigar seeds out of Cuba.
Oh, really?
Mm.
I never knew that.
Yeah, man.
Well, one of the interesting things also about Davidoff that he mentioned is that they they kind of monopolize the
Davidoff?
yeah they with with the tobacco seeds that they have,
Yeah.
they've genetically modified it in a way where the plant itself cannot germinate out in the fields. So in essence, they with the plants that they have are they have both the female and the male parts in one flower. So that's one of the ways that they keep control
Yeah.
of the quality of their tobacco. and I don't know if other brands do the same thing. I haven't looked into it, but that's quite interesting to see the like, level of detail that
Hmm.
goes into this.
Or Brazil, because Brazil's the biggest producer of coffee in the world, right? And we've heard that they've started doing cigars as well.
Yeah.
I wonder what their cigars are like.
Well, one of the cigars that we were gifted from the Leaf Master was uh, Don Gloria, I believe,
Hmm.
with the Brazilian with the Brazilian wrapper. It's the brand. I want to say it's an AJ Fernandez. I'm quite excited, like to smoke that.
You should do the review on that.
Uh,
Yeah,
like with me, you know, I enjoy smoking these kind of like unique sticks on the pod, just to
yeah,
kind of get it out there in a way. I've been enjoying reviewing cigars. So the two reviews I wrote were of cigars that I've had at least 20 of each. So I've enjoyed like so I'm quite familiar with those sticks. Um, but like with unique sticks like that, um, at some point once we uh, once we get bigger, I'd want to see if there would be an interest to do uh, a live review where we kind of
yeah.
go on YouTube live and we review a stick online like live. That'll be a lot of fun at some point. I don't know if anybody is doing that at the moment, but
I mean,
it'll be
whoever
like a fun
is
experience.
watching this episode, let us know in the comments if that's something that would be interesting. And
It'll be a lot of fun, but we
uh,
need to we need to kind of build up the following before we kind of dive into that and the equipment
speaking
we
of
have.
following, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on all our socials. And
We were supposed to say that in the beginning.
I mean, it's fine. It's there in the description. You can find links to all our socials. Um, hit the subscribe button over on YouTube. We're on Spotify as well, Apple Podcasts. You can find us all over. All you have to do is literally search in Google Dubai Cigar Podcast, and you'll find us there.
So are we now the biggest cigar podcast in the Middle East?
are, are
So,
we the only cigar podcast in the Middle East?
podcast, I would comfortably say yes, but I've seen really interesting channels, cigar channels. There's one in Egypt. There's an Egyptian gentleman
Yeah.
that really does really well cigar reviews. Talks a lot about cigars. He actually did review the Yamasa as well.
Really?
I've watched a couple of videos
In
for
Arabic
him
or
in Arabic, purely in Arabic.
nice?
Yeah, so he's been around in this industry for a while, and I think he's doing a great job.
Nice. I'd love to check out his channel.
Yeah, so if we happen to go to Egypt in the near future, we should do a collaboration with them.
Yeah.
100%.
Man, this is a one powerful cigar.
Yeah.
And
I'm
if you notice,
struggling
the
with this.
flavors didn't go.
Yeah,
They like you're getting new flavors
Yeah.
with every couple of puffs. You're still developing new flavors, but with the time going on, it's not like something
me-
that just tastes like tobacco to
exactly.
the end of it. No.
It's quite a complex
I'm
Yeah.
getting
smoke.
I'm getting hints of like mint and stuff with the final third.
Mint.
Like it's a
Like peppermint? Is that the pepper
it's
kind
like
of thing?
when you have a bit of like mint,
Mm.
the way it coats your mouth in a cool way. That's what I'm getting.
I'm feeling quite hot.
I'm going to end mine here. I can't.
Yeah, I think we're gonna
Yeah,
call it a day.
we're
I
gonna.
think I think I'll finish it off camera to get
Yeah,
something to eat and then carry on
Definitely.
with it.
100%.
It's been a lovely chat. discussing Davidoff. I think it's one of the major cigar brands in the world.
It is.
And well, what I find interesting is cigars, they're doing amazing.
Mhm.
But the other things that they're doing, because they focus on the cigars, everything else they've outsourced to other companies like coffee, cigarettes, perfumes. The quality is not as good.
Mm.
But it's probably a money maker for them, right?
Yeah.
But cigar brand, brilliant. I'd love to smoke some more, get some late hour cigars in as well.
Yeah.
Limited editions in future episodes.
100%. This I'm really excited to get into it more of the Davidoffs as well.
Yeah.
It's gonna be in the works 100%.
Yeah.
So, and I think that one of the main things I'll be keeping my eye out on now when we're in the duty free will be Davidoffs as well, not just Cubans and not just
And
budget stuff.
maybe we'll have an episode in Davidoff of London.
Yeah, that would be, I feel, if we're ever in the Davidoff of London just having a conversation with Sahakians, I feel that would be like
That's when
that'll
you'll
be a
know.
dream come true.
That's where you feel like, oh, I've made it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
100%. And it'll be doubly awesome if we're all in bespoke outfits as well.
We'll leave that to you. You decide on that. But yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in.
Yeah.
Don't forget to subscribe, like our socials, follow us everywhere, and help us get Tolham and our dream of one day being able to shoot an episode in the Davidoff of London. So thank you
100%.
so much.
We'll see you guys in the next one.